All right.
Cool.
I want to get this right. Diako
Nazari. Yes.
So welcome, Diako Nazari.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. This is such a nice place, actually. I've been meaning to say that because everything is really high tech.
It's getting there. This used to be my bedroom, like I'm not sure if you saw my bed. And
I did. Yeah.
I sacrificed my bedroom for, this.
That's nice. Well, it will pay off, I'm sure.
I hope so. But honestly, I don't mind. It's like almost a studio now, so I don't mind.
Yes, it is. You got the background, you got the curtains and everything. Nice. That's amazing.
The background that the people can't see.
Yeah, I can see it. I love it.
The dog foot. So I used to take out to the beach, right? Okay. And this is why it's so dirty.
There's so much memory in there.
Yes. There's memories on here, and then there's the yoga mat right here that we use for sound grabbing, right? Because
okay.
I need to get those things that you put on the walls.
Yeah, I got that for like $20.
$20?
Yeah, an 8-pack.
An 8-pack? Like, how big did they come?
Yay big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even bigger. This big, yeah.
I need to get these, I've been told.
Yeah. So. It actually does not really help in my situation, but I think just because it's a room and it's a small room, you can actually use it. It'll be pretty cool. And they come in different colors. Yeah. They come in different colors, kind of different textures in terms of visual.
So what texture color did you go with?
I went with purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Purple and that's it. I only got the 8-pack because it's my wall is pretty small.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me? Okay. My wall is pretty small, and the space where I can actually shoot is pretty small as well. So they can only see 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the whole thing is like they're like hexagons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where do you record in your apartment?
In my apartment, yeah.
In your bedroom?
No, I live in a studio apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this section where it's between my desk and my bed, which is pretty convenient for me to actually shoot there. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of reverb, or because you have your bed and stuff that helps?
I do get the reverb, unfortunately. And the pads did not really help.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just there for aesthetics right now.
Yeah, okay. I've seen and heard that like the those like rug looking things, like if you've ever seen the JRE, like in your circumstance that might be good.
They're really
a blanket there.
Mm-hmm. Anything that can actually change the texture and material around you from something really hard, stiff to something a bit more soft, it can actually be helpful.
I've heard this, so but I can't. I can. When I had my bed, when I recorded with Menelaus, my bed was still in the room and we were pushed in this corner. Okay. And that helped a lot on the reverb.
Yeah, it does.
That bed was amazing.
I don't remember. Okay. What type of bed do you have? Like, is it the frame? Is it metal?
No, it's it's pretty much all foam. It's a foam mattress.
Oh, okay, that's why why it actually helps. But essentially, you don't really need those pads. Anything that actually makes the surface a bit softer, it'll work. Yeah, so you can actually. I've seen videos. They put on just paintings, and it actually works. Yeah, there's so many different videos, tutorials to actually do that without the pads. So you'll be fine.
I've thought about, I've talked with this a couple of times, that I want to get one of those sound, like the things you're just talking about, but I want to get one that's like the size of this table.
Yeah.
And then like have it black and then have my logo carved in it. Like
you can actually do that. There are companies that actually produce them in any size, any length that you want. They carve anything or paint anything that you want on them. They just charge you a bit.
Sure, like I don't know, like for something like this size with the Pinzon, it shouldn't be too expensive. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
It'll be like $200.
Even less than that. Less than that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's doable.
Yeah. You can do it. There are companies offering these services on Amazon. So they show you their samples, and then you send them your any painting, any logo, anything, and they'll do it for you through Amazon.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you don't even have to find the website and just contact them. They'll do it for you
through Amazon. This is the new saying of our time, right? Just buy on Amazon. Buy on Amazon.
Yes. I actually bought everything from Amazon for my whole place. Everything except for my bed.
Oh, okay.
Except for my bed. Everything is from Amazon. The dishes, anything.
Really? Wow. I'm a old school. I like going to see stuff in person, right? So like that's why this desk and the carpet I got from IKEA, because I can go in and I can actually see. But that's me, like, because this is a very firm desk, right? Like this was one of my requirements, and like you really can't tell that kind of stuff until you go. But I understand like the convenience of just buying. And
the reason, because I'm kind of like you. But the problem for me was that when I moved into this place, for some reason, I didn't have my car in that moment for like a month or so. It was broken down, something like that. I don't remember what it was. Anyways, I didn't have any vehicles available for me to actually move and to move around the city.
Yeah.
Anyways, I had to order from Amazon. I didn't have any other options, or just calling Ubers.
I did an Uber
times.
Yeah. I did an Uber for this and the thing, and that was fun. You know, like you're walking out of IKEA, you're like, I hope all this shit fits in the Uber.
The good thing about IKEA is that right now, if you go to IKEA, you can buy stuff and then you can ask them to deliver it, whatever it is. It'll take a couple of days, but they'll deliver it for you.
I should have done this. I'm part of my personality is when I go in, I want this now. Okay. You know? And then like let's bring this home now. You know, that's just who I am. Like when I decide to do something, let's just do it and get it done.
Get it over with as soon as possible. Move on to the next thing. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
It's good for me in that regard. One bad thing is, and unless I have momentum, and you know, then I cannot do things. You know, right? Because I'm a person that when I decide to do something, I do it very fast. But then once that momentum stops, I don't do anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let me ask you this. When you want to buy something really simple, maybe shoes. So you go outside. You go to some sort of a store or a mall or something, right? Do you buy it from the first place that you go into, or you just browse around until you find the right thing?
It depends. Like for shoes, more lately in my life, I've been more particular. Like, okay, I just bought these On shoes, you know, like a year ago.
Okay.
And I went to like 2 or 3 stores in the mall, but my criteria was waterproof and they have to be comfortable.
Okay.
Right? And then so I just tried on shoes. And I knew I was going to spend like $200, which for me is like $200 on shoes was a lot. But I did it, and so I shopped around, but I did it all in a day, right? Like I leave home, I go to the mall. I don't want to go to multiple malls. I just want to go there, get them on, and go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Because for me, it's like if I want to buy anything like that, shoes, clothes, anything, I know what I want to get, and I know what brand I want to get. So I go directly to the store, and I come out. That's it. I can't browse around. I can't walk around the mall or anywhere else. It's just not me.
Yeah, you know, like there's some girls I hang out with sometimes, you know, and they like to do that mall shopping. And I'm like, what is this? Like, it is not.
It's not necessarily girls, honestly. I have so many guy friends that do that. Some of them do it for the price. Some of them do it for just finding the right thing. I don't have that patience. I can't do it. I'm like, anything mediocre, as long as it's there, I can get it right now, I'm good.
I got 2 suits last year, and I just walked to Nordstrom. I went to the suit floor, and I just walked from you know, they have like 5 different vendors, and went the same store. I got to the price point that I matched me, and I said, okay, like here's my plan. I want to get some like two suits that I can match, and with the stuff, boom, an hour, 2 hours
Done.
later, I was done.
That's good. That's good. That's convenient, honestly.
Yeah.
That's very convenient.
It may not be the best price on some of those. That's the negative when you're like doing that kind of impulsing.
Yes, but you're actually investing in your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can be doing so many other things during the next 3-4 hours of just browsing around. You can be doing something more productive, making more money even.
Yeah.
You're investing in your own time.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
for sure. I anytime I'm doing something on my own, like work related, like whether like if I was going to edit these YouTube videos, right, for the podcast,
yeah,
I'm like, I could spend hours doing this, but like you're saying, it's not worth my time. But
yeah.
I never put it in the context of like shopping.
Anything, I guess, can actually work in that formula. Even if you go home and you rest and you do nothing, that actually is an investment in your mental health. Mm-hmm. See? Because then you don't have to pay for the therapist. You don't have to pay for another shopping day just to make yourself feel better.
That's true.
See? So as long as you're doing something that matters to you, I think you're gaining interest.
and so, what matters to you?
In terms of what?
Like you said, doing something that matters to you.
Oh yeah, anything. Honestly, so I'm really obsessed with just finishing like being thoroughly done with my schedule, with my plans for the day or the week. So if I don't do that, or if I fall behind, I get really stressed out. So I'd rather spend time doing what I had planned. And that makes me feel better, honestly. It could be studying, it could be working out, it could be anything. Yeah.
Okay. So what things do you? So what's your job?
Right now, I'm not working. I'm taking the DAT exam, so I'm preparing for that.
DAT. What is it?
It's dental aptitude test. It's an entrance exam for the dental school.
Ah, so
Yeah.
do you want to be a dental hygienist or a
Dentist?
A dentist.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to become one.
you're trying to become.
Yeah.
So what prompted this? Like
Well, it's a long story. So I'm 28 right now,
Uh-huh.
and since I was 18, I wanted to get into medical school. Then I couldn't do it in Iran because there was this entrance exam. I couldn't get in. I did it 3 times. I couldn't get in. I came here. I studied molecular biology, and then I'm still. I got my honors last year. Finished the honors part. I did my thesis and everything. But during my research, I felt like I'm 28 right now, and I'm okay with everything being so hard. I had a terrible time. It was crazy. But I'm okay with it being really crazy right now, but I can't continue being like this miserable until I'm 40. So I decided to just change it to dental school.
Very
So
cool.
now, yeah.
It's great that you recognize that so young, and that you said, I'm not going to be unhappy. You know?
Yeah. Life is too short. I got to know that. It was something big for me to understand when I migrated to Canada. When I came here, I was like, life is too short to not be happy and just follow everything, like to just get to your goals, get what you had been dreaming of.
And so what prompted that life being short revelation?
A lot of depression.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of depression. And I was like, and I was missing my family, my friends, my home.
And this was because you moved to Canada?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, what if this is it? I could die today.
Mm-hmm.
What if this is it? And this got me thinking. So at some point it will be it. At some point it will be done. And you need to be happy with what you're ending with. So I decided to work towards being happy rather than working towards only success and not being happy.
That's very cool.
No, that's what I felt like 2-3 years ago.
That's for to have that at your age.
Thank you.
So like I'm like 9 years older than you.
Okay.
So for you to I'm in my 30s, I started going through those things, thoughts in my head process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was younger, when I was your age,
Mm-hmm.
my thought process was, this computer world, it's going to kind of suck for a while, but okay, I can put this in for 20 years or so and retire early. And so this was my whole like thought process. But then in my 30s, that started to change. Like, no, like what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, how about I change this to do what makes me happy?
Yeah. I think at some point you need some sort of an insurance in your life to feel like, okay, I can make it. Because if you're at a position where you feel like I'm so miserable or I'm so devastated to just make the bare minimum,
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to make that decision of I want to be happy in life. I at least I won't be able to do that. But you need to have some sort of confidence in yourself. Feel like I can make it. I can make it if I wanted to. But now I have decided to do something that is more desirable for me rather than this one. I think this is why it happens at your late 20s or at the beginning of your 30s, because you have done stuff, you have tried to achieve some goals, and you have seen yourself some sort of thriving through adversities, and you feel like, okay, if I can do that, I can do this.
Sure.
But now I want to change routes. I feel like that's why it happens a bit later than your early 20s or so.
That's a good point.
Am I being clear? Or?
No, you're being clear. No, because you're saying in your 20s and like your early 20s, you're doing stuff for the first time, and you haven't really experienced like what it's like to have a job and go to school and doing something that you don't like or something that you do like. So that in your late 20s, early 30s, after experiencing that, you can say, okay, it's time. Time to move on to the next thing.
Yes.
Or like you can process what happened before.
Exactly. You can be really hyped up at the beginning, right? You can be really hyped up at the beginning of your early 20s because you're just out of high school. You're in college. You want to. You feel like the whole world is for me. Like you party, you do crazy stuff, but then real life kicks in, right? And when you go through all those challenges and you come out successful, you're like, okay, this is something new to me, and I did it. So do I still want to stay on this route? Do I still want to do this? Or there are other options. I think that's why it happens a bit later.
And so your other options that you're thinking now are the dentistry, and then the YouTube channel that you've created.
So for me, it was like, so my plan is to get my, the American version for you is DDS. Okay.
Yeah. DDS I'm familiar with.
Yes. So I'm going to become a DDS.
Yes.
And then, I do plan on getting my MD as well along that, after that.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a 6-year program after you're done with your DDS. You can become a surgeon whilst you get your MD as well.
So you're gonna be a mouth surgeon?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm planning to do that, but through dental school, you have more time. You're not as depressed as medical school. You're not under that much pressure. Plus, I still am an international student. I needed to make money. I needed to actually get out there and not spend all my time studying, be able to get my PR to be able to get into school. So all of that had to happen for me to actually become a bit more sophisticated. Then I can get my MD. Then I can get my other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just a change of pace rather than fully changing the route.
Yeah, I've known people who their wives have done the medical program, right? Like in the US, like, and then it's insane.
Yeah,
you know, like
it is
how many hours they work, and a lot of it's illegal stuff, right? Because the hospital says legally you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah,
so
but you still have to do it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's beautiful. It's amazing for people who can do it. It's amazing. And the thing is, I feel like I can do it too. I'm doing pretty well at school. Not amazing. I'm not amazing, but I'm okay at school right now. I do have the requirements to get in. But then I'm like, I don't feel like I'm going to be happy. If I become a doctor, an unhappy, depressed doctor is not going to be useful for the society, not going to be useful for my family, for myself, nothing.
Do you judge a lot of what you do, like on being useful for society?
I do, a lot. I feel like that's not a good thing, but I do.
Why isn't it a good thing?
Because it actually happens when I think of my job, whatever I'm doing, because I don't get easily satisfied, and satisfaction is something in your head. You can be doing nothing and you can be satisfied, and in the end, you're living in your head, right? Honestly, whatever we're doing right now could be just an imagination of mine. I could be lying in bed just in the Matrix.
You could be.
Yeah.
You could be. I don't think that's what's happening.
Me neither.
But you could be.
Like in a conceptual way, it could happen, right? So I could be doing the same stuff, but happier, right? I could be doing this interview with you, but I could be 100 times more happy, right? For no reason, just because of who I am and how I feel and the logic behind why I'm doing this. I would still look the same. You would still look the same. Everything would be the same. So I'd be more satisfied if I weren't like this, I think. I would be still doing the same stuff, but more satisfied.
Interesting. So you're saying you'd be more satisfied
with myself, with life, yeah.
By not feeling like you have to be contributing.
Super, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not like I'm a saint or something.
No.
But I'm just saying that the value that I put into some work subconsciously come from contributing to the society.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that's inherently bad. That's like one thing that I've realized the last couple of years that I'm trying to shift my thinking towards is to do things more to contribute back, right? So like previously, like as my job as a software engineer, I never had that thought like I'm contributing back to society.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like the people I work with, I'm making their lives easier by writing good code or helping them with their problems, right? But for me, it was always like selfishly focused.
Yes.
But I kind of like your mentality of being focused on helping, like contributing back. But I understand what you're saying about the. I think what you're really getting into is like making your happiness dependent upon
others' happiness.
Yeah.
Which is not amazing because people are not necessarily happy with what you give them, even if it's the best thing in the world.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think even in my own life, what makes you the most happy, it's when you I'm talking in the context of getting something. So like if you get a bottle of water or you get whatever, right? If you do something to earn that,
yes, that
makes you more happy than just being gifted.
Sure, definitely.
I think this is true.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It is. It's different.
But I think that is a good point that we don't think about a lot. Or some of us do, is not being dependent on other people on how you feel.
Yes. It actually is different when you feel that you're enough for just being you, and whatever you do is okay. Whatever you do is amazing. You're amazing for what you are. In an extreme, exaggerated way, it is being portrayed in the society, which is I don't like what's happening. But in a more personal version of it, everybody should think that whoever they are, they're amazing. Whatever they're doing, it's to the best of their skills and abilities, and good for you. You're good.
Yeah, I would agree on that as long as they're being like, you could run into this tendency where you're gonna thinking of, I'm doing nothing, I'm a bum.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But yes. I'm still doing amazing. But I think how I would tweak what you said would be, if you are following your heart, like doing what you're passionate about and trying hard.
That was what I was saying, and what
amazing.
you just mentioned was what was happening in the society. But here's the question that I still think about.
Okay.
Why is that bad? Why? Because I do, unfortunately, I do judge people who do nothing and feel that they're amazing. Okay, so, I do judge them.
So you judge them how? Do you feel they're amazing? Or?
No, I feel like that you're just fooling yourself. And this is hurting me too, because I'm living next to you. I'm living in the same city, same societies, on the same street. And you feel like you how do I say it? You're as valuable as much as I am to the society, to myself. You should love yourself. But I feel like if I'm doing something that is helping Andrew, or at least not hurting Andrew, I'm better than just sitting around and doing nothing, right? That's how I feel. Could be wrong, could be 100% wrong, but that's how I feel. As long as I'm trying to not hurt you, as long as anything that I'm self-aware. But people who do nothing, who do zero, zilch, they feel like they're the best and everybody should follow them. I don't know if I'm being clear, if I'm being...
I kind of like...
I don't know how to explain it. Because there's some limits on what we can say on this. Anyways, let's just move past that moment. Anyways, I do judge people who slack off. Yeah, I do judge them. But what is wrong with that?
Of slacking off?
Yeah, what is wrong with feeling like I do nothing and I'm a bum?
Yeah, I actually have thought about this a little bit myself, right? There used to be a girl that I knew who worked in the building that I lived in. She was a security person, right? Okay. And I admired her because in her job, she didn't take it seriously at all. Okay. But she was focused in her job on studying every single night. So like she would write down her math equations, or like all of her schooling she would do during her security. Yeah. And then in her security job, she was
studying.
She was pretty terrible at her security because it was like a building security, right? And so like people had lots of requests, and so she would do the minimum work. Okay. Right. And I had respect for that, because she had a goal, and she's like, my goal is to graduate and do very well in school. Yeah. Right. And so I'm going to deprioritize this work job. Yeah. So I admired her for her capability in making that decision and focused on her end goal and working towards this. And in this particular role, not doing such a good thing. Right. Okay. And so that kind of is what you're saying about like a person who's like, not doing nothing, but like if I'm at it, if we're working in the same company, right, and you're working less hard, yes, right, and you're quote unquote being lazy in your job, right. My question to you is, why are you doing that? Are you doing that because you are just being lazy, or are you doing that because you're prioritizing other things? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I think anyone who is actually lazy is prioritizing something, right? What if they're just prioritizing investing less energy and investing less energy on the job and just saving more for themselves? Is that still good?
I hear what you're saying there, and probably, right?
That's good.
I
don't think that's good, because if you were going to get paid for this job, if you were going to work in this position,
yes,
you have to just that's your contribution to society, regardless of what your position is, right? You have a contract and you said yes. You could have just done something else, right?
Sure, yes.
You could have become a lifeguard or something to have fun.
Yes.
But no, you decided to work in this company to get paid to come in from 9 to 5 and just finish a few tasks. But when you prioritize yourself, your energy, you're saving more energy for yourself. Maybe you want to just go out after work, or maybe you just want to go home and not deal with a lot of anxiety and stress from work.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people who I judge, unfortunately. But are they wrong? Do you think they're wrong? Do you think it's bad? Because I don't think it's bad, but deep inside, I feel like I do judge them. I feel like it's bad.
So you try not to judge them, but deep down you feel like you do.
Yes, that's the thing.
Well, one, I'll say it's, it's good that you're able to discuss that freely, right? Mm-hmm. Because some people wouldn't be able to say, I have this negative emotion down inside of me. So it's good that you're able to say that. So I just want to highlight that.
Thank you.
Is it good or bad? I don't know, because I'll tell you myself, have the capability of doing both.
Okay.
So I'm a person that I can do nothing. And there are some days I don't do a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
But I have that flip side of me that I can do a whole lot. And in moderation, it feels pretty good, right? But if you do it all the time, being lazy isn't good.
It's bad if you're doing it all the time.
If you're doing it all the time.
Okay. How come it's not good?
How come because...
What if you still do the bare minimum? What if you still are finishing the stuff, but you can go beyond that without extra payment, without extra promotion, but you have the capacity to go beyond that. It's not unexpected of you to do it, right?
Yeah, no.
Would it still be okay or bad?
I don't know to say it's okay or bad, but like what I will say is, like, me, anytime I work on something, I have this tendency that I want it to be the best possible, right? Particularly if I'm in a job and I'm given a task, right? Even if I'm being slow accomplishing the task, for me to turn in the work and say, this is good, this is done,
because you care about it, right?
Because it's a reflection of yourself, right? Like,
yes, okay.
And it's not even like a sometimes a reflection of yourself. It's like when I see something and I look at it, if I return it back to you in a shit, I could tell it. There's some people who they look at something and they do the work. Like those people, like, they don't know it's shit, right? Okay, but like if I look at this, I'm like, I can tell this is shit. It can be so much better.
Okay,
I feel guilty, or I feel like, no, you should make this, as best possible.
Can you tell me why you feel like that?
Why do I feel like that? So it could have come from that when I was young, my mother used to say, I don't care. What was her exact wording? It was something on the order of, all I care is that you work your hardest at whatever you do. So whether you pass or succeed or fail, it doesn't matter, as long as that when you walk away, that you tried your hardest.
Okay, so maybe I can say it, that deep inside your mind, you're trying to satisfy that picture of your mother, saying that you need to do your hardest, right?
It very well could be. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the question. With your mother in your head, judge another Andrew.
Sure.
It's exactly the same guy with the same potentials. Mm-hmm. Not you.
Not me.
Me. I'm another Andrew.
Okay.
Same potentials.
You're another Andrew. Yes.
Yes. But I do the bare minimum. I do the task. I do it.
Yes.
But I have a lot more to give. But it's done. It is qualified. But I can do a lot more.
Yeah.
Would you judge me? With the mother in your head?
What would I see? Like, I'm trying to not judge people.
Everybody is trying to, which is impossible.
But I do judge people, right? Like,
yeah.
And then you try.
That's for survival.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I brief side note. Mm-hmm. It's very important what you talk about. Like, the reason that we judge people, right? Like, back in the day, or even still today, right? Mm-hmm. Like, when I meet a person for the first time, the things that are going through your head is this person going to harm me? Are they going to hurt me?
Yeah.
Are they going to hurt people I know? Right? Mm-hmm. So judging people, it's baked in our DNA.
Yes.
Right? So you bring up a good point there, like, for survival. Mm-hmm.
It could take the wrong turn, obviously.
For sure.
Yeah.
Back to your comment, would I judge them?
Judge me. I'm another Andrew.
I'm another Andrew.
Not you. Not the 30-something year old
But I know you
Andrew.
have that capability.
Yeah.
I would probably, like, if I was your friend, my advice to you would be like, hey, like, I know your potential and you're not living up to it.
See?
Yes.
See? You are judging.
I am judging, yeah. Like, but
let's think about that. How would you feel about me?
How would I feel about you?
Yeah. You don't have to be my friend. You just know another Andrew with all the potentials that Andrew has.
Interesting.
How would you feel about me when I'm handing in a paper, whatever, or I'm finishing a task, whatever it is? It is fine. It is fine. But I can contribute a whole lot more. How would you feel about that? Just your feelings.
Just my
You
feelings.
don't have to say anything.
Yeah. So, like, my feelings would be, like, why are you not doing this? Right? Like,
okay.
So, like, do you have a stressful situation at home? Like, what is going on? But are you just being kind of lazy? Like,
see?
Yeah. So, like, I would have these thoughts, like, why do you have this mentality? Right. Mm-hmm. At the same time, like, I have friends that live in Greece.
Yeah.
Right. And, I admire their kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which is like, you just, like, your whole point on life is to, like, go out with your friends. And, like, so, like, you go to work, right? And you do your job, but then you come home and you're out to 2 a.m., going to the beach, drinking with your friends, just having a nice, relaxing lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so that's very intriguing, right?
Because they might not have the mother in their head. Because I have that same mother, right? Because I know where you're coming from. I have the same thing in my head. But there's so many people that they don't have that sort of, let's say, parental control in their head. Yeah. Just due to their culture, just due to their way of life. Mm-hmm. And that is totally fine. I don't have anything against it. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily ours is the best, honestly. We might have survived some sort of adversities just because of those, but there's so many limits put on us, put on our mentality and our capabilities just because of those. Because we're not as liberated as so many people, just because you feel like, I need to do this instead of just feeling creative about it, right? But some people just don't have that. There's so many people, I feel like, from European countries, just because of the cultures, based on what I've seen, they don't have the same parental control system in their head. I don't know if I'm being racist or not.
I know. I don't think I'm being racist. Like, not at all. No, I've even experienced this slightly, just comparing USA and Canada, mm-hmm. which is in Canada, people are a little more relaxed.
Yeah.
Right. Like you get a job in the US and it's like go, go, go. And it's just the mentality of the people there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just so much like I always felt there's just so much more pressure. Not even because they're pressuring you directly, but it's because when you see your peers and how everyone else is working, like they're working so hard. So then you develop this pressure, like you got to work even like harder, right?
Is it the competition?
I think competition's a big part of it. Because from like working in the US, most people, and it might be starting to change, or it might be different, like what generation you are, or like geographically where you are, right?
Yeah.
But in general, like when companies I'd work for, right, or like people, is we had this consumer producer mentality, right?
Okay.
You know, like this business mentality, like a customer, like the customer's always first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it was always about pleasing the customer, right? So I do think that there's just a lot more native competition in the US. And then like Canada has more of that European, it has a slightly more European feel where their social policies, they have a little more a social safety net, which isn't a bad thing. Like that's actually a good thing. That's something I admire about Canada everyone has healthcare. Now, if the healthcare is good or not, that's a whole nother discussion. We won't get into that.
Okay.
But
please don't cancel my PR.
No. But yeah, it's but what I miss about the US is that aggressive, like, you know, like, let's get this done, and like let's break down the barriers. It doesn't matter, just go after it, get it, and you're rewarded for producing results. You're rewarded, right?
Okay.
Like if you're seen generally, not you know, like there's good places and bad, but in general, if you're doing a job that exceeds expectations, you're rewarded, you're promoted, you're given more opportunities, right? Like, and you're encouraged to do more.
Yeah.
In Canada, it is
not as much. Yeah.
It's more about just keep the things moving out at their keep the lights on, right?
Yes.
Don't.
Yes, I get it.
That's kind of what it is. But what I admire about it is that people do spend more time like on their personal lives, or they're more focused on having that more calm lifestyle with their family.
Yes.
Or so I admire that part, right? So, and I don't know if you can get both, right? Like
you definitely can. These two definitely cancel out each other.
Yeah. So I don't know, like the only way I could see it is if you were like, okay, like 9 to 5, I'm gonna work like a crazy madman, and then outside of that, I'm gonna
live in a fairy tale. No, it doesn't happen like that. It does not. Unfortunately, in some medical fields, I've seen people, because I'm a pharmacy assistant. I used to be a pharmacy assistant until like 2-3 months ago, and you know, as a person who wants to become a doctor or a dentist, you see a lot of people who work in medical care. It's interesting that you see people explicitly express themselves saying that it is not in my job description. And when your doctor is saying that, when somebody who is talking about your life, your physical health, you only have one body, and they can do something to actually make you treat you, but they don't, just because it's not in my job description. I don't care. That's when it hurts. That is when it hurts. So in some fields, it actually, I think it matters. Fields that I am more familiar with. But the thing is, you're right. That person, when they're not working, they could be the nicest person you see on the street. You can ask them anything and they're willing to do it. But at work, if it's not a part of their job description, they're not doing it, even if somebody is in a terrible situation. Yeah. I've seen that a lot of times, actually.
I've seen it.
There's so many great doctors out there. I'm not bashing anybody, but yeah, I've seen this a lot. It is happening a lot. The problem is everybody feels like to keep the lights on means that you're safe. Because if you go beyond that, you might be able to throw a party, but you're not safe. In terms of a lot of stuff, maybe with regard to the legality of stuff or anything. Yeah,
I've for sure. If you take that chance and you step outside of the box, it's an inherent risk, right?
Yeah.
There's a high chance it's going to be good for you.
Yeah.
But there's also a high chance.
The downside is crazy.
Yeah, the downside.
Yeah, the downside is really crazy.
Actually, a friend of mine was talking to me about this, and he kind of changed my perspective, right? Because we were talking about like just how polarized kind of our society is, right?
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, I think it's only very small fractions of this of the society that have these extreme viewpoints, right? And I was like, I think it's this 80% in the middle. Like, but my question was, how come these people in the middle, like, they don't talk about, you know, like, or they express their viewpoints, or you know, like how come they're so silent, or there's not as much discourse.
Yeah.
And then he was saying, because in society, right? If you think about if you're like through generations and through civilizations, right? If you ever took a step outside of the box, right? Then that's an inherent risk. Like you might be killed because you disagree with the group opinion, right?
Yes.
Or
you might become a hero.
You might become a hero, right? So people call, you know, you get enough people in a room. There's the 80% of people, and what their goal is to just let you know, like they want to stay in the bounds, they want to stay in the box, and they're like, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go here, I won't say this, I won't say that, because that's going to put me in this uncomfortable zone, and all I care about is I want to have my house and my family, I want to have a job, just leave me alone, right? And so this 80% of people that are not willing to go outside, you know, he, you know, in his perspective, he's like, that's the reason that like in Nazi Germany, right, that their policies were able to progress so far, is because the people in the people in the center who disagreed with those ideas, they didn't, you know, express them because they were too scared.
Yeah, true.
Right? And so that kind of changed my perspective on people, you know, like groups of people, not individuals.
Okay. First of all, I honestly don't think that it is the 80% at least in Canada and Vancouver. But I think about the fact that, let's say it is actually 80%. Who are those 20%? What age group are they in? What are they dealing with? What are they exposed to? What type of media? I think the 20% are mostly people from maybe 18 to 24, 5. And the 80% are dealing with daily life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's another big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're in your 20s, they don't have the time. And you are 9 years older than I am. So you're like 37?
That's right.
Okay. So when you're 37 years old, you are working full time at a company. You probably have been there. You're at a position where you're safe in that company.
Yes.
You hang out with with a certain community that the type of people you deal with are similar to you in terms of their income, in terms of what they're worried about most of the time. what they want in their lives, like the level of what they want, right? Maybe today, what I think about is just improving my car, but maybe what you're thinking about is buying a yacht.
Yeah.
That's our difference. That's why I don't get into your community. I'm not accepted in your community. Honestly, you won't be accepted in my community as well because you're too big, right? So, I forgot. I talked about yachts and I forgot what I wanted to say. So the communities that you hang out with and you're a part of actually make a huge difference in your lifestyle. So what I experienced in my first 2-3 years in Canada was that, and I'm not talking about Iran at all. In here, I was living on campus. So most of my friends were people who were my classmates or people who were at school with me. So they were younger than I was. So they were like in their early 20s or even 18, 19. And they were crazy about every single detail. They wanted to shout about it, right? They were not worried about their place, their house. They didn't care about the car. They were living on campus in a single room, and whatever they did, they could come back and they would still have food to eat. And the next day they had to go to class, and nothing would have happened to them. So they had the chance to speak up about whatever they felt like it's not fair or it's not what I want. But when you are dealing with real life, things are different. The stakes are way higher. So for me, it wasn't 80% silence. It was 80% of people at the beginning. It was 80% of people who were talking about whatever they want. They were the polarized community. But then the 80% right now for me are the people like you who would rather stay in the safe zone because of what they have and what they want to keep and what they want to get in return. So I feel like, we can't say everything is going to stay like that because the mentality of the young people will change. But the change is through the young people every time. The hero is going to be someone in their early 20s, at least in that context of early 20s. So, the society is not polarized. Hitler was pretty young when he decided to become Hitler. Yeah, that's what I think, at least.
Interesting. I'm just processing everything that you said.
Yeah, I say a lot of crap. Sorry.
I don't think it's crap.
I'm just gonna refill my water.
You're fine. I'm not sure this was the best.
Yeah, how are you supposed to do this?
You're the first one that we're drinking out of these milk jars. I've brought this on the show before but I had cups. So I'm I'm feeling this, and
this is cool.
I thought about this. I'm like this, but you did it well, my friend.
Thank you.
Cheers to water, to Avalon Dairy Ltd.
Ltd. Yeah.
Limited company. I don't know what that means. Ltd. But yeah, but one thing I will say, just talking with you, because we at Armin's party when we met, I didn't talk to you much. I know that the biggest time I talked to you is we were making fun of Armin. And then when I got home, I felt a little guilty. I was like, maybe I went a little hard
on Armin. No, I never feel guilty.
All I remember from his experience was, or not all I remember.
He was trying to boil water.
Yeah, but I remember I've done this 4 times.
Yeah.
I've done this 4 times. It works. Trust me.
Yeah. It worked in the end.
It did work. It was very tasty tea. I'll admit that.
I think you were one of the few people who actually tasted that tea.
Yeah, because he disappeared.
Yeah. He apologized the next day. I was like, no, don't apologize. He had a fun time. That was the whole point.
Yes. Yeah, he doesn't have to apologize.
Yeah.
But back to you. It's like one thing I'm hearing or observing is that you're kind of a deep thinker. Is that you like to think of about personal reflection, like yourself, society, like that you like to think about things. Is this true?
I guess maybe. I don't try to be a deep thinker, honestly.
Do you self-reflect a lot?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But I try not to.
You try not to?
Yeah. Because it gets in the middle of your life. You feel like you don't want this to happen every single step that you take.
You mean you don't want to self-reflect every single step?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to do bad things sometimes.
Yes.
But if feeling like this could be wrong or is it okay keeps you away from trying it, then you have a problem.
Yeah. Sometimes what I do is when I self-reflect, like I can sometimes self-reflect something that happened 10 years ago. And then I'll be like, why did I do this 10 years ago? Like, I can't believe I did this. Like, and then I'll feel negative for some time that I did this thing 10 years ago. And to your point, it's like, hey man, just get that out of your head. Like, like it wasn't the most terrible thing in the world. Like, people have done a lot worse things.
Does it affect your next steps? Like, you feel like you said something bad to me today.
Yeah.
And the next interview with whoever you want, whoever you have the interview with, you kind of avoid talking about edgy stuff maybe?
I'd say...
Does that happen to you?
Not talking about edgy stuff, but like... If like let's say that we were talking and I inadvertently insulted you and you were like offended.
Yeah.
I would try hard to not redo that same experience with the next guest or even you again, right? Like,
okay.
So I would do that, but like,
how hard?
How hard?
Yeah. Because when you focus on trying really hard, you lose your touch on other stuff.
So not super hard, not super hard, but it's just like one of those things like on a subconscious level, I'm like, okay, like note to self, this person doesn't like it when I like go down that topic, or like one of my friends once, I was joking very like we used to joke all the time. Like we used to throw insults to each other all the time, and it was funny. But there was one topic I touched one time that was very sensitive to the person. Right? And so I was like, okay, note to self, never talk about that topic in that joking manner with them. Right? So,
were you able to joke around after that with that guy?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so see, I would choke. I would choke every time after that. Yeah. Every single time.
About the same topic, or
about joking around. And yeah, I would choke.
Yeah. So like I'm a big joker too. Like a lot of my jokes can be insulty, kind of, like, and then like my expectation is you insult me back.
Oh, okay.
You see, so like it's like,
are you receiving? Are you okay with people?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Like, you feel like you
can go. Sometimes it stings a little, but like you have to recognize, like, why does this sting? Okay, like you try not to judge them for Yeah, it's like, okay, that stung a little, but that's okay.
So you're okay with people going the same depth?
Yeah, of course. Like, and then I try to do more self-deprecating humor as I get older, because I figure that this goes better.
Yeah, it's more accepted. Here's the problem. I have done that a lot because at some point I come from a whole different culture. So I have been at a position where a joke caused me so many friends in Canada.
It cost you friends in Canada?
Yeah. Yeah. So I started joking about myself. But at some point, people... I don't know, they get carried away. I don't know. So this could actually make you look like a terrible person or a stupid person.
So who are these people?
At school. At school.
Yeah. Were they maybe perhaps weak-minded?
Not necessarily. It was my problem. It was about the fact that I came from a different culture. And I was not used to living in a place where people from a multicultural place. I had never experienced that, living in that situation. And I had knowledge about my own surroundings back there. not here. And so when you want to live the same way they used to do back then, it could actually be a bit insulting, especially if you're doing jokes. Yeah. So yeah, I had one of my major depressions was about that because
you lost a bunch of friends.
I lost a bunch of friends, but it was through the one thing that made people like me.
Was your laughter?
Yeah.
So
I used to be a
understand.
funny guy.
Yeah.
Back in Iran, but then I came here. I used the same trick to actually make friends, and that started making people to not like me instead.
Yeah.
And I had no intentions of insulting anyone or making anybody feel bad or anything.
Yeah, but you like to joke.
Yeah.
You like to be fun. I completely understand this because this is something I struggle with myself because I love joking with people and saying inappropriate stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that I'm racist. It's not that I'm trying to be insulting. I'm trying to have fun and joke, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's what it's all about. It's trying to have fun.
Yes.
And so I struggle with this for like two reasons, because part of me, it's like there's some people that you probably shouldn't hang out with, right? Like like if they can't take a joke, then okay, I don't need to hang out with these people. At the same time, you want to recognize maybe you are being into extreme. You know what I'm trying to say? Like maybe you need to self-censor a little bit. Yes. But I think that's one reason. Like I've noticed, like in Canada, like a lot of cultures that I hang out with, like Greeks, Iranians, Latinos, right? A lot of these cultures like it when you joke, or and so I get along with those cultures really well. Okay. Like I can go to Armin's party and I can insult him about his making tea, and everyone just thinks it's fun.
Yes. That's a part of today's deal, honestly, because people could take everything super seriously, seriously, actually.
It's too serious. Yeah. Lighten up, okay?
It's not necessarily bad. I think it is still about being safe, because if I take this too seriously, and if you, because I had experiences with people who said that if somebody says this thing about me, what if I accept that, what if they then decide to actually hurt me afterwards? I was like, why would somebody decide to do? And these are educated people.
You with what?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happened exactly. We were talking about, so there was this seminar that this girl went to. And
it always starts with a girl.
Yes. No, come on. You don't want to get monetized, man. You don't want to get monetized. Yeah. So she went to this seminar, and there was this guy who stood up and said something about the main speaker. And then people booed him and kicked him out, because he said something against what he believed in. And it was a religious seminar, apparently. I don't know. I was never there.
So this guy was at a seminar, and the guy who said the quote disagreed with what he said?
Disagreed with what the lecturer, the main speaker, said.
And they booed him out.
They booed him out. And then what he said was a bit harsh. So apparently this was a seminar about Islam, and this guy was a Christian who came in to learn about what's going on in Islam. And then he was like, no, what you're saying is wrong, and everybody booed him out. And this girl was really mad at the Christian guy because of his thoughts. And he's like, what if he then decides to kill somebody? I was like, why would he just expressed his feelings in words?
Yeah.
Why would he decide to do that? And this was a major discussion, an argument that happened for an hour. It's really stupid when we talk about it. You're like, why? It's done. Honestly, it has been done since the last 2 minutes ago. We're fine. But this happened for a full hour. We were talking about the fact that this guy is not going to hurt you. He just thinks something could be wrong. Something could be against his family, against his family's well-being. He doesn't like it. That's it. Good for him. But you exist there. He exists there. In the same country, same city. You're both protected. You're both fine. This was an hour.
And then this stirred the losing the friendship.
No. This was. Then I decided to not hang out with that girl. But no, my jokes were. This is not a joke. I did so many crazy jokes that I can't even think about them today.
Why can't you think about them?
Because they're super wrong. Because.
So let me ask this question: if you were in Iran, would you still be saying these jokes?
Easily, without even wasting a breath.
If you went today, you would say these jokes. Like you're in Iran tomorrow. You hang out with people. You say your jokes.
Yeah.
There's anything wrong with that?
There are so many things wrong with that because
I don't think so.
It is. There's so many things wrong with that because when you joke about something, you have an audience, right?
Yes.
And your audience needs to be accepting of the concept, right? There are things and concepts that are accepted in Iran for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And there are things that are not accepted here. That's it. That's the only difference that makes something right or wrong.
And so for me, I think one thing that we need to do better as a society is, or just as a culture, just as people living together, right? Like, especially in North America, like in North America, you should be able to have two extreme ideas and they should be able to get in a room and talk about something without getting upset. Or if they do get upset, that after the conversation, they can go out and they can still be peaceful and cordial with one another, right? Like for instance, like in your thing, like if you tell me, like Allah is good, and I say no, Jesus is good, and then we bang this out for 2 hours, like those are okay opinions to have, right? Okay. And like maybe your opinion is like all other religions except Christ, like everyone else is going to hell, and then my perspective is something different, right? It's okay to have those perspectives, and we should be able to talk about these things, because then if you can't talk about and have those discussions, then how else are you going to challenge ideas or grow as a person, right? If if you have this idea in your head, maybe it's a good or bad idea, right? Okay. But if you're too afraid to share it, or you won't share it, maybe you won't grow as a person because that idea can't be challenged.
That is 100% true. But here's the thing. If I express my feelings and then you express your feelings and we say what we think about a certain matter, then we can discuss it and then we become friends because that's how human beings work.
Yeah.
Right? Then who's going to make the money in this scenario?
What do you mean who's going to make the money?
Okay. So let's say the religion thing. I say Islam is good. You say Christianity is good. And we live in a country where there is this party who is the political party who has a lot of Muslim members, and then there's this other party who has a lot of Christian members. If I'm for the Muslim party, I would actually invest in that party. I would actually give money to it, and then you would actually give money and invest in the Christian party, right? And they grow, and then for them to actually make more money, they need to actually make more conflicts between us so that I can act, so that I would be provoked. I would feel like I need to invest more money in this so that my beliefs will win. My beliefs are not winning. That guy is making more money, right? So if the conflicts do not exist, so many people are not making money. So these conflicts are not something. So the conflicts and the fact that people cannot accept each other is not because they're not capable of doing so, or
for sure, 100%.
There are people who are promoting this. There are people who are intentionally promoting this because of money.
For sure. 100%.
And there's big money in it, not just about religion.
No, I know what you mean. Particularly in politics or just social structures.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
remember what happened recently? So Canada recently gave $50 million to Ukraine, right? For whatever reason. I'm not a politician. I don't know if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
But it's $50 million. And a lot of people got angry with it, remember? People were like, why are we giving $50 million to another country when they already have enough stuff?
Sure.
And a lot, you remember what happened, right?
Of course. Like this is.
But remember what happened inside the country as well? In that moment when Trudeau was giving that money out?
No.
So I can, if you recall, in Toronto, there were these riots that people were actually burning and going against the LGBT community because they were talking about trans people at schools in like fifth year or something like that. I don't know if you remember that. And then this
I don't remember.
gender studies prof got stabbed in Toronto, and then people there were these parents in Surrey that started just chanting things against LGBT community. And there was this whole negotiation going on about the fact that parents do not like their children to be exposed to people being gay or joining the queer community at that early age. And they didn't want their children to learn about it at early ages. And if you listen to radio, everything was about that in that week when Trudeau paid $50 million.
Yeah.
So why would Trudeau pay $50 million? What does it have? Is it just because of philanthropy?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
There's a special interest, 100%.
Yes. So if we are busy thinking about what's going on between us, I'm not going to ask him
for sure
why you're doing that.
For sure.
Nobody has anything. Canada is one of the most liberated countries in the whole world. And I'm pretty sure really old parents do not care whether their children are learning about LGBT when they're 6 or they're 12. They don't care. And in the essence of that, they know that they're going to learn because everybody has their phones. Every child has a phone in their hand. They're going to learn about it. And they already know. So why would I go out and start chanting and start going against people? Why would I fight others? Because I'm being pushed to do it somehow.
Yeah, there's a which bring up is it's something that people don't recognize enough, I think, which is if you, throughout human history, but even today, right, there are people in power control, and they have interest, right, and if people are fighting amongst themselves, then they're distracted from the actual issues that are really important. For instance, like Democrats and Republicans in the United States, right? There's this appearance, because I don't want to say that I really don't think most Republicans and most Democrats, I don't think they hate each other. But that's the perception, right? It's the perception in the news, it's the perception on social media, like that's the perception. But it's to distract them from the actual issues, because the actual issues are, right, that people don't have good healthcare. Yeah. Right. There's a lot of people don't have good healthcare. And there's many ways to resolve that, right? But because they're infighting, they're not focused on this. They're not focused on the corruption in government, right? They're focused on your party's bad, my party's good, but wait. All these politicians in power, they're abusing their power in a legal way.
Yeah.
So there's so much corruption, right? So they're not focused on the actual issues, right? It's something that has been done throughout human history, right? Like a good quote from a movie that I like was I forget the movie. It might have been Boys in the Hood. I don't know. Okay. They were talking about this neighborhood, and it was a black neighborhood. Okay. And they're like, how come in this neighborhood there's a gun store on every corner and a liquor store on every corner, right? Yeah. It's because the people who own those corporations, right? And you know, they influence the government. Like, okay, we can put these here and sell them here.
Exactly.
Right. So that's a very good point.
Yeah. People are making money off of everything that we do, probably. It was funny because I recently took this elective course, gender studies. It was a selected topic course. It was about women's right in the context of marriage. And it was not what I thought it would be. But I learned a lot of stuff because it was mostly about sociology and politics rather than the actual what's happening in the society right now. It wasn't like that. And I learned that everything that is happening every day is just based on money. Whatever decision that we are, whatever options that we're actually supposed to decide between them, whichever you choose, you're just handing somebody money, literally, just because they designed it that way. So I feel like more than ever, I feel like whatever I do, whatever decision that I make, it's just because someone decided for me to do that. Honestly, that's how I feel. We can talk about it for hours, honestly. But even like simple stuff like marriage, I had no idea that people did it just to, like, from 300 years ago, and here in the States and Iran and so many other countries, they just did that. Just to gain land, just to gain rights, just to gain money. It's just a simple institution of family. It's if you just want to get married, then they question whether it's okay to be monogamous or not, and whether being monogamous or polygamous will again make money for the government or for the people advocating them, and whether the normative lifestyle that is accepted today is actually normal. Whether the science that is behind it was presented like that, because science is something that is solid, but it never actually expresses feelings or it gives out normal living instructions. Science is something that explains why this is there. It doesn't tell you that this should be there or not. But it is represented to us like that. I don't want to be mythical or just, I feel like a lot of stuff that has been fed to us, that has been shoved down our throats, are because of money, of somebody gaining more money. And I'm not against it. I just want to be on the side that makes more money.
I think what you say has there's what you said. There's a lot to unpack.
Yes. It's a whole course that I got to be in, and I did not understand a single thing completely.
It's definitely,
it's a field of study.
Definitely money. It affects all of our lives, right? And that's not inherently a bad thing. So
no, it isn't. Yeah.
But by like going to the grocery store, I have $5, I can get a watermelon and I can take it home, right? Like that, that's a good exchange, right? It's a consumer, right? There's a producer, you know, we conduct our business, right?
Yeah.
So like money helps people like coordinate, right?
Yes.
But I think kind of what you're saying is it becomes a problem when people with money start to influence governments or people's behavior intentionally. You know what I mean? Like when it's okay, I want to sell this product, right? And so let me have like let me pretend that sugar isn't as bad as it is, and I'll put it in all my drinks or stuff, right? Or I can change the dietary recommendations through the government funding or something like this, right? So like that part's not good for sure, 100%. The corruption, right? So it's finding that balance of like that free market and enabling people to do commerce, but then having this level of corruption that is here.
So the thing is, back to your example, you have $5, you go to a store. There is a reason why you're buying the watermelon, unfortunately, which is legal. So at a store, if you go to, I know this about Shoppers because I worked at Shoppers. So if I'm a merchandiser, I am instructed to put this here because they paid me an extra $3. Then the camera goes there, so you don't see it as fast as you can see this, right? And the color and so that's legal.
It's
that's
all marketing.
It's marketing, and that's legal
for sure.
But then, what is happening through in the governments and in the societies is that I would tell you to get this jar. You also don't see the camera as fast as you see this. Plus, if you don't get this, I'm not going to sell you anything else. It's a right to come into the store and be able to buy it, right? But if you don't buy this, I'm not going to sell you anything else. That's what's happening.
How is that happening?
Okay. So let's talk about the marriage thing. So until a few years ago, the health benefits that you would get from health insurance that you would get from your company if you work somewhere, it would actually include your partner only if you were in a monogamous heterosexual relationship, and you had to be married, right? Yes. This means that if we're partners and we're not heterosexual, but we have been together for years and years, we might be even closer than a wife and a husband, right? I would not gain benefits from your healthcare. Sure. Right? This means that I am excluded. The insurance company is saving more money. They could have given me that because you have a partner. Right now it is happening. But because people were like, this is my partner for 20 years. But he is or she is being excluded because they don't fit into that strict definition. And you're making money off of that because you're still getting that money from the company that I work at to actually include my partner legally. Sure. But you just say that this person is excluded because it doesn't fit your description. So this was happening, and it is still happening in some places. But there's so many other examples, but this is one of them. You get excluded just because you don't fit a description. And the description becomes the normal lifestyle that everybody has to take on. Otherwise, they will be eliminated from getting what's actually their own rights. Sure. As a human being living in a country as citizens. That's what's happening. Yes.
So how, to your analogy of that I have to buy this in the store before I can buy anything else. How does that relate to this example that you gave? Because I understand you're saying, like, you know, if we're gay, you know, historically, then you couldn't put me on my insurance provider.
Yes,
right? But how does that prevent me Because are you saying that the marriage is like the bottle? And
yes, the marriage, heterosexual monogamous marriage,
yes,
is the bottle.
Mm-hmm. And you have to do that before you get anything else in the store. I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I understand your analogy now.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I get it though now though. So yeah, it's a good analogy.
So a lot of things are happening like that.
Yeah.
And it's not just about healthcare providers or insurance companies. It's about a lot of stuff. And people who are at the bottom layer, we're at the bottom of the economic system, who are struggling, are always going to stay poor because of this gap between people who are better off and who are gaining these rights.
For sure. But so here's what I think is you're absolutely right that the people at the bottom are benefited the least from the system.
Yeah.
Right? 100%. And that if you're in the middle class or the upper class, then you benefit more, right? It's like the more money you have, the more options that are available for investments and like all this kind of stuff, right? But that's just very small out of the global picture. But however, so I agree with what you say, but then there is the other fact too, right? Is that there are some people who at the bottom, right, that even if they're given the same opportunities as everyone else, they'll still be at the bottom.
Okay.
You see, so my point is that we need to try to give people all the same opportunities, but that it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful or not.
True. That is 100% true. But here's the thing. Not everybody wants to be successful. Some people just want to stay healthy.
Sure.
Live a normal life.
Yes.
And honestly just die after that.
Yeah.
They just want to live a happy life.
Sure. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody has to become Elon Musk.
And honestly, those people might have more life satisfaction.
Yeah, but they still have the right as a citizen of a country, regardless of where that country is, to live as a healthy person, have a good life, not struggle about everything. They don't have to get a Bentley, but they might be able. They need to be able to commute, right?
Yes,
it's important, but they don't get to do that. That is a problem. I'm not talking about commute, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's
the bare minimum is everybody's right. Bare minimum of a normal, not normal, an adequate lifestyle.
For sure. I think there needs to be a bare minimum of
a different standard.
Or of just a standard that everybody has in a society. Right. So like so like things that I put on my list are like everyone should have access to healthcare, right? If you're working a 40-hour a week job, you should be able to pay your bills, and you should be able to have good food and have healthcare, have water, these things. So I definitely think,
and if you have a family, you shouldn't worry about your kids, their safety,
for sure,
their education. These are important stuff. These are the bare minimum that a person in 2023 needs to get. For sure.
And it just benefits the society in general. So by this I mean like if you're in Canada or US or whatever country, right? If you have 10% of your population that's living in extreme poverty and that they don't have access to good food and they're not thinking right and they're not contributing to society that well because of their circumstances, right? Your society could be better if that 10% was contributing at a higher rate because they had their stuff, or their basic needs met, right? So I'm definitely a proponent 100% of, having acceptable levels of like a living wage or like things like that.
And the problem is that not a big portion, but a portion of that 10% at the bottom, there because of the sexual practices, their religious beliefs, their race, ethnicity. That is the problem. If you're lazy and you don't want to work, not saying lazy, if you don't want to work 80 hours a week, that's your choice. It's fine. You're not going to make as much money as a person who works 80 hours a week.
100%.
Yeah, that is fine. That's how you want to be satisfied with your life. But just because of who you are, you shouldn't be at a position where other people with the same qualities and the same effort would get more.
Yes.
That is the problem. How long have we... Oh my God, it's 3:30.
It's an hour and 40 minutes.
Wow, we talked a lot.
Do you want a bathroom break, or are you ready to wrap up?
I'm actually okay with wrapping up. Do you have anything else you want to...
No, we can be done.
Okay.
So
because you're yawning, man.
You look tired. I'm an old man, so I yawn and stuff. I need to have more coffee and stuff, right?
Okay.
But, well, thank you for coming on the podcast and being a guest.
Thank you so much for having me. This was actually a great experience. I loved it. I really had fun. I really enjoyed it.
And the lights. Thanks for bringing out these. Now you're gonna make me I see them now. Okay, now I gotta buy some lights.
Yeah. So the affiliate links are in the bottom at the description. I don't think they're gonna do that, but on Amazon, go buy it. It's $50.
There's 2 lights here, and go buy them. And I'll get $0 if you buy them. So.
Yeah. Oh, we can actually get that. Oh crap. We should have applied for that before we started the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, folks, thanks for listening to us shit talk, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing.
All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.